Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to You Can Talk. My name is Ruth Finney. I am here outside this morning. I'm off today. It is Columbus Day. I don't know where you are, what you're doing, if you're at work, but I'm off today. So I thought I would change up the scenery, give y'all something a little prettier to look at. I hope you can hear me. If you can't, please let me know. Um, I'm out here by the river. It's beautiful morning, and thank you for the back. Thank you. I'm glad y'all appreciate the background. This is a pretty river. I'll kind of show you. You can see how crystal clear the water is. It's like that year round. You can see how gorgeous it is. I'm in a little college town, and usually all the college kids are out here. Tubing and doing their thing. So it's usually full of half naked women. But today it's not. Today, everyone is in school and doing their thing. So I'm out here partaking in this beautiful environment. So today I just wanted to, can you hear me well? Be the difference. Am I loud enough, or do I need to get a little closer? Today, I wanted to talk about meeting people where they are. I was thinking over the weekend about one of the things that I always appreciated about Jesus was that he always met people where they were. He never was too far above, going wherever he needed to go and using whoever. Oh, you thought it was a premiere? No, it's not a premiere. It's me live. It's me live. So I will be here since I'm off today. I had a little time, so I thought I would, change the background. I'm usually in my car. So I thought, oh, it's such a beautiful day and it's nice and cool. Thank you, Havy. Love seeing you. Hi, sister. How are you this morning? Good to see you. I appreciate you guys being here. Like I say, it's a beautiful day, and I wanted to talk about meeting people where they are. And like I said, one of the things that I loved about Jesus was that he would meet people, use anybody. From all walks of life to do whatever it was that he needed and wanted to do. And one of the stories I was thinking, no matter what they were going through, because I was thinking about how we, struggle in our relationships because we have a hard time relating to people, and we have a hard time, you know, getting on the same page as people, so that we can get to a place where we can try to work together, where we can try to, find some common ground or find some commonality at all. Sometimes we get to a place where we're constantly arguing and fussing back and forth because we can't see or imagine or understand why the person is thinking the way that they're thinking, or reacting the way that they're reacting. Or doing the things that they're doing, all of it. It just, we have a hard time. Hello, Miss Terrell. How are you? Minister Terrence, good to see you. Welcome in. I enjoyed your ministry and worship the other night. It was so good, which I know you do every night, but I catch it when I can. So I was happy to be there. Uh, Thank you for being here this morning. We're just talking about meeting people where they are this morning, like what Jesus did. And I was thinking about the story of Mary and Martha when they lost their brother Lazarus to death. And forgive me if I look down, but I'm kind of sitting around a pool of ants. So I'm asking God to protect me from getting bit by a bunch of ants while I'm out here, because I really wanted to be out here and sit out here. So I'm just going to be comfortable and let God deal with these ants. And prayerfully I won't get bit. But anyway, he met Mary and Martha in the midst of their angst, right? They were so anxious. Number one, because they knew what God was capable of. Hello, Angie, in real life. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, Mary and Martha knew what God was capable of, knew what Jesus was capable of. And so they wanted to, rush and get him because they wanted him to save their brother, right? Lazarus, who was dying, and eventually ended up, really actually dying. And so they met Jesus and they were like, Jesus, had you come, had you been here, he would have been saved. And so he met them in the midst of their angst. And he met them probably in the midst of their anger, right? Because they were probably a little bit angry that he didn't come when they called, like we do, right? We want something so badly and we want God to move so badly and so immediately. And he doesn't always do that. He doesn't always move when we want him to move. And he certainly doesn't always do the things that we want him to do. Or if he does, he doesn't do it the way that we want him to do it, the way that we think he should do it. And that was what he was dealing with Mary and Martha, that they were probably slightly upset, disappointed that Jesus didn't come to save their brother Lazarus. But he came and met them where they were in the midst of their anger, in the midst of whatever all that they were feeling. And he went to the tomb where Lazarus had been laying dead for a while, right? um, in their mind, Lazarus was long gone. It was over. The situation was over. There was, no more to be done, right? Other than to just grieve with us and comfort us. So they thought. And yet Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, though he had been lying there dead for many days, right? And I can imagine how they felt, how they must have felt. And I think that Jesus did that, number one, to show us that God moves on his time. Right. We can't, as much as we may want something to happen, as badly as we may want something to happen, as badly as, we may want Jesus to fix a problem for us. He moves on his time. And I think the second reason is that he wants us to know that there is never a situation that's too far gone that he can't fix it, that he can't make a difference, that he can't make a move on it, that he can't revive back to life. And that's kind of how I want us to think about our relationships. Whatever you're dealing with in your relationship or in your marriage, I don't know what your struggles are, what you're struggling with, but God knows. God knows. Hey, Positive, how are you this morning? Good to see you. Welcome in. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, how we get to a place where we can meet people where they are. Those are the things that I want to talk about. When we're trying to meet people where they are, we are trying to bridge the gap between our own expectations and the expectations of the other person, right? Because we have our expectations of how we think things should go and what we want to happen and so on and so forth. And they have their own expectations of what they want and what they think should happen or how they think things should be. And that doesn't always line up, right? Because we always feel like our way is best. And of course, that person is certainly feeling like probably their way is best. And so we have to learn to meet people where they are. But how do we do that, right? What are the things that we need to do in order to meet people where they are? Because sometimes we're so stuck in what we think and so stuck in what we want to have done that we don't leave room to try to, meet people where they are. So one of the first things we need to do in order to do that is to listen. We have to listen. We have to be willing to listen, and not just with our ears. Um, People talk in many languages. They talk with their bodies. They talk, of course, with their words. They talk with their emotions and their feelings. And we have to learn to be observant. And they talk with their spirit. They talk with their spirit. And we have to learn to be observant and listen to what people sometimes are really trying to tell us. Yes, we have to be willing and able. We have to be willing and able. And we're able. We're just not always willing. Right? If truth be told, we're able, but we're not always willing to listen. Um, what we see and what we perceive can be different than what other people see and what they perceive. And so we have to be willing to say, hey, what is it you're seeing? What is it that, why is this so important to you? Why does this matter to you? Why is it that you feel this way? And be willing to understand how they see it and why they see it that way so that we can sort of figure out, sort of put ourselves in their shoes, develop some empathy, right? Because that we're not always willing to do. So, and when we do that, it helps us to understand why they're speaking the way they're speaking, why they're reacting the way they're reacting, why they're, moving the way they're moving and doing the things that they're doing. Because a lot of times that's where we lose people, right? We don't understand why they're talking to us the way they're talking to us, or why they're acting the way they're acting, or why they're reacting to us, the way they're reacting or pushing us away or, trying to push us out of their life or whatever the situation is, right? Or trying to hurt us even, or not trying to come to some sort of compromise or just trying to manipulate us or get their way or whatever it is they're trying to do. We don't understand it because we haven't taken the time to actually listen. So a lot of times when we're not listening, people will just do what they want to do. They'll try to make the thing happen or force the situation to be when that is not always the best thing, right? That's not the best thing. But because we're not willing to listen, we're not willing to listen to what it is that they may have been trying to tell us. They just take it upon themselves to do what it is they want to do. And so if we take the time to pay attention to what people are saying, if they're saying, well, I'm not really wanting to do this because, when we do this, it makes me feel this way, or it makes me think this, or it puts me back in this space or this situation that I don't like, or that I never feel comfortable in. That doesn't sit well with me, whatever it is. But sometimes we don't believe people when they're trying to tell us something. We think, oh, well, you shouldn't feel that way, right? We make excuses for them. Well, you're just overreacting, or you shouldn't think that way. When the truth is, we need to be willing to accept that that's what they're feeling and that that's what they are perceiving and that's how they're seeing it. And we have to be willing to listen to that, listen to what they're actually saying. And try to get to the whys, to the whys of the understanding. So that's the first one. Listen. The second thing we have to do is we have to be aware of our own preconceived ideas about our culture, our social, our social norms. We have our own preconceived ideas about what we think should be and how we think things should be, how we think a relationship should be, how we think a marriage should be. All of that. We have our preconceived ideas about that. And whenever whenever we have our own preconceived ideas about what we think, we don't leave room for God. We don't leave room for God to show us what he wants for us, because what we want may not be what God wants for us. Right? So, and if that's not what God wants for us, and we're so busy trying to make the thing happen that we want to happen, then we don't allow room for God to move and for him to show us something different, or for us to try to understand why things are going this way, to trust the process sometimes that he's trying to take us through in our relationships, in our marriages, in our lives, period. Because he may not want us to do the norm. He may not want us to follow the normal social ways that people are moving. He may want us to move differently. He may be calling us to move differently because we have to be the light. We have to be the light. And if people are falling into the darkness and he's using us to be the light, then we have to look different than the world, right? We can't look like what everybody else looks like. We can't move the way everybody else moves. So if that means that your relationship has to, move a little differently than the way other relationships are, then that's okay. If you in your marriage, if you may be doing different things in your marriage than what other people are doing, maybe y'all are choosing not to have kids. Maybe y'all are choosing to devote yourselves to ministry. Maybe you all are choosing to travel the world. Maybe you all are choosing to, live in a completely different kind of way than the traditional house and kids and dog and all that type of stuff. Whatever it is, you have to be open to what God may be calling you to do. Hello, sincerely yours, Nadia. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome. So we have to be aware of our preconceived ideas about cultural norms and social norms, and be open to listen to where God might be trying to move us. And that's part of the way that we meet people where they are. So just because if you're called to be in relationship with someone, this is the person for you. And they have a completely different idea about what the relationship or what the marriage should look like, and you're like, what? Like, I don't know about that. That's not what I imagined for my life. But ask yourself, God, is this what you want from me? Is this what you might be calling us to? Is this the difference, the different way that you may be calling us to to be and be willing to do that. Hello, Janine. How are you, my sister? Good to see you. Good to see you. I appreciate you popping in this morning. I'm out here for those of you who are just coming in. I'm out here at in a little college town in Texas, and this is the river, and it's really pretty. See how crystal clear it is. So whenever I like to want to imagine that I am at the Caribbean and with the crystal clear waters, I come down to this river and imagine that. But anyway, the third thing is we have to do is we have to watch our judgmental words. When when our opinions differ from the person that we're in relationship with, we tend to get defensive, and we tend to want to get very reactive, right? When our opinions and our thoughts and ideas differ from the person that we're in relationship with. Now, if it's completely outside, of what's healthy, then for sure you don't want to, probably deal with that, right? I'm not telling you to open your mind to things that are not of God, right? But just because someone may see a situation differently, or they may want to approach a situation differently, we should be open to listening to what, because God may be using that person to speak to us, to show us a way that we never imagined, to show us a life that we never imagined for ourselves. Why? So that he can use us to do great and amazing things. Uh, God uses different kinds of people to do different kinds of things because he's searching for each and every kind of way that he can reach us. That he can reach us. God doesn't want us to put him in a box. And if he doesn't want to be in a box, that means he may not want us in a box either. So we have to be willing to open our minds that he may be calling us to live a little bit differently than what we imagine for ourselves. So therefore, we have to watch um, our judgmental and opinionative words that we can sometimes say just because we don't understand. When we don't understand things, we have a hard time accepting things. When God may be trying to show us something differently. And so don't be so quick to reject an idea of or a thought of someone who has a different opinion than you, just because God may be trying to open your mind to what it is that they're trying to say, to get us to see differently. Because he may need us to be effective in a way that we've not been effective before. Sometimes doing the traditional things the traditional way doesn't catch people's attention. And if he wants to, catch someone's attention, sometimes he has to do things a little differently. And we have to be willing to do things in a different way, so that he can reach those people that he's trying to reach. If he comes at us sometimes in a way that we expect, then we won't be quick to receive it. But if he comes at us differently, if he comes at us, in a way that we don't expect, then he has our attention. And when he has our attention, then he can move in and do what it is that he needs to do and use us in the way that he needs to use us. So be open and don't be so quick to pass judgment or to criticize someone who has a different thought or idea than you. Say something like, tell me more, right? Tell me more. Like, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. Tell me more. Tell me how you came to this. Why is this? Why do you think this will work? How did God bring this to you? Help me understand how this will work, right? Instead of just shutting it down immediately. And give it a chance, give it an opportunity, give it a chance and see how God moves in the situation. You might be surprised. You might be surprised at what he does and how he moves and how he opens up a door and a path that you never imagined that he would ever open. Good morning, living your best life. Good to see you. Good morning. Welcome. So then once you do that, that's just another way to meet people where they are, rather than shutting them down. Meet them where they are, listen to what it is they have to say, and open your mind and your heart to understanding, right? And that's the next one. Show them that you understand and remind them of your commitment. When you're in a relationship with someone, we can easily lose a person by acting like we don't, or by not trying to attempt to make an effort to understand. Okay. um, it's very important to be in a relationship and feel like your partner understands you, right? They may not agree with you, they may not even like it, but if you know that they understand you, it brings a sense of comfort that, okay, I know this person understands me. I know that they're different than me, but they understand me and they accept me for who I am. And then remind them that you're committed. You're still committed to the relationship. Because a huge reason that people walk out or don't, fully commit is because they feel like the other person is not fully committed in the relationship. We can tell, right? We can always tell if you're in a relationship if somebody has one foot out the door, right? You feel, because they're always, number one, reminding you that they have one foot out the door, right? They're always reminding you like, hey, I don't have to be here. I don't need you. I can be doing something else, right? They're constantly reminding us that they have one foot out the door, and then they will often not seem like, act like they're looking for a way out, looking for a reason, like they're just waiting for you to make a mistake so that they can, walk out, right? Like, the very next time you do this or the very next time you do that, I'm leaving, right? So rather than changing the language of saying, you know what, I didn't appreciate this, or I don't like that this is happening, I don't like where we are, but I'm still committed to making this work. And if you're still committed to making this work, then I am too. And I want you to know that, because that brings a totally different approach to the relationship and working through what it is you're struggling with. If we're struggling and you have one foot out the door, I'm always going to feel like every time we struggle, this person is going to leave, right? That's how we tend to feel. Yeah, they're looking for a reason to end it. But if you know that this person is committed to the relationship, committed to making it work, you're committed to trying to make this a long-term situation, be it a working relationship or a marriage or whatever. If we know the person knows that you're committed, then they're going to put forth some extra effort to try to do whatever it takes to make it work. They're going to try to put forth extra effort. They're not going to be so fearful, and they're going to be more willing to open up and talk and communicate, say what they're feeling, not hold back on, trying to hide things. All of that, they're going to trust that we're in this together, and no matter what the enemy throws our way, we're going to try to work through this. So it brings a completely different environment and atmosphere to the relationship and to the marriage. And that's what you want. You want to know that the person is committed, because it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be perfect. So we have to meet people where they are. Like, hey, I know things are not working well. I know that neither one of us are happy right now. I know that this is not what we want, or this is not how we intended for things to be. But let's figure this out. Let's figure this thing out together. What's working for you? What's not working for you? What are you liking about our life right now? Or what are you not liking? What do you wish we could change, or what do you wish that we could do differently? Um, if you had your way right now, how would you like for things to be? And start putting those things on the table and seeing where you all may have some common ground. You're like, hey, we're both feeling this way. I didn't even know we were both feeling this way. Or we're both really liking this, so let's incorporate more of this into our marriage or into our relationship. So these are the things that we can do to sort of meet people where they are. So develop some, show them that we understand. We understand the situation. We understand what they're feeling. We understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling. And then remind them that you're committed, that you're committed. I'm still committed to this. I'm still committed to you. I'm still committed to making this thing work. Living your best life says you may not want to communicate if you know they aren't committed to the longevity of the relationship. Absolutely, right? If you're not committed to being here, then what am I wasting my time for? Why am I spinning my wheels? Why am I going to put forth all my effort if you're constantly looking for a way out, or looking for a reason to get out? So work on that. Work on meeting people where they are, and know that when we show people that we understand and when we show people that we're committed to the relationship, they're more willing to give their all and put their all into it. And we are too. We are too. And that's what you want. That's what you want when you're trying to have a long-term relationship. And the last one is acceptance. The last one is acceptance. We have, like I said, we have a hard time accepting things that we don't understand. And therefore, we tend to want to write it off or dismiss it. We'll dismiss the things that our partners are telling us. We'll dismiss the the things that they try to bring to us because we think they're not serious about it, or that they're not committed to it, or that they're just playing or messing around. Accept what people tell you. You know, sometimes people have a hard time saying things. So sometimes they will say it in a joking way because they're just trying to see how we're going to respond to it. Sometimes they'll say things in a sarcastic way because it's something they really want, but they're afraid that we might immediately reject it. So accept the things that people say, and if you're not sure if they're playing, ask them, "Are you serious right now? Like, are you for real, or are you playing? Right? Or is this something that you really been thinking about, or are you just, talking right now?" Ask people. Ask people, what does this mean for you? If you, or put it back on them. If you could really do that, how would that make you feel? Right? If we could really, participate in this or do that, or if you live out your dream, or do whatever it is you're wanting to do, how would you feel about that? Right? Put it back on them. So try to kind of pull out whether or not it's something they're really serious about, so that we can accept the things that people say to us. Sometimes we can be too quick to dismiss the things that come out of our partner's mouths. Yes, we have to ask questions. We have to ask questions. Be willing to ask questions. Don't just immediately, snap back and respond like, "Oh, that's stupid," or "That's ridiculous," or "Why would you say that?" Or, why are you thinking that? Those types of things don't make people feel, don't welcome conversation. And if you want to, be more communicative in your relationship, then you have to be willing to open up the door for communicating. And that means that we can't be so quick to be judgmental, or so quick to, dismiss what the things that they're trying to say. So we have to be willing to accept those things that come out of their mouth, whether they're playing or whether they're serious. And like I said, and if we can't tell the difference, then we need to ask more questions to try to find out. So, meeting people where they are is a challenge. It can be a challenge. And that's why we have to listen. We have to be aware of our own preconceived notions and ideas, and, of our social norms. We have to watch our judgmental words. We have to show them that we understand and remind them of our commitment. And we have to be willing to accept people for who they are. There's no greater love to have, or to feel, than to know that people accept you for who you are. Right? There's no greater love than that. To know that you can be imperfect, that you can be even ratchet at times, right? And that this person still loves you. That whether you're being loving and happy and you're in a good mood, or whether you're depressed or down and need some uplifting, that these people still love you, that this person is still committed to you, and that they accept you for who you are. But in order to receive that, we have to be willing to give that as well. We have to be willing to give that as well. So that's all I wanted to talk about with you all this morning. I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Uh, it is, like I say, a gorgeous morning. Do something fun today that you want to do. Um, do something that you enjoy, and try to meet that person that you're struggling with where they are, where they are. Open your mind, open your heart, listen to what they're saying, and try to develop some understanding and get on some common ground so that you all can move forward in your relationship. All right. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. It's a gorgeous day. It's breezy. It's my fall favorite time of the year. And so you all go out and enjoy your day, whether you're at work or if you're off, whatever it is. So I'll leave you all with a little more beauty out here at the river, so y'all can take some of that in. People are out swimming this morning already. I know that water's cold. But anyway, you all take care. Y'all have a beautiful and wonderful day. I love you all. Bye bye.